to their slave master. In my opinion, this is my humble opinion, a lot of these sovereign indigenous arguments, in my opinion, are nothing other than self-hatred being channeled into a political economic agenda that appears to look like it's solving our problems when it's creating more problems. In other words, any solution for our people, no matter what you want to call us, because I don't fight over names. If somebody wants to be a Moor, I have no problem with self-definition. You want to be an Asiatic black man, whatever that is, I have no problem with self-definition. You want to be a Hebrew, a Nawapian, I have no problem with self-definition. We are the original people of the world. And as the original people, there is no one name that can accurately capture the greatness and divinity of who we are. So I have no problem with all the different names. We are all of them and more. So the name thing don't bother me at all. That is a superficial argument. But here's my question. What solution are these groups putting forward that's going to solve the race problem and bring about liberty, true liberty and justice for Africans that doesn't include Africa? Because in order to exist in this world, you need land that you control, that is not occupied by your oppressor. In order to exist in this world, you need material resources that other people need so that you can engage in trade. In order to exist in this world, you understand, you need the resources that are under the soil of Africa. Everybody needs that. China needs African resources. Europe needs African resources. America needs African resources. Everybody needs them. But this happens to be your birth land. This is your birthright, and you want to give it up. Not you, my brother, not you. But some people want to give it up for the right to fight the white man to take control of North America. What is North America compared to Africa? Minerally speaking, spiritually speaking, culturally speaking, geographically speaking, geopolitically. What benefit does North America have over Africa? Zero. Zero. So why are these indigenous sovereign Negroes telling our people to forget the richest piece of earth on the planet and fight for this? You know why? Because they love white people. They love them and they want to live with them and they want to be with them. That's why they can call themselves a Moorish American, but they'll never call themselves an African. It's okay to call yourself an American, but it's not okay to call yourself an African. It's nothing but integration. It's nothing but integration disguised as some fancy philosophy for liberation. Listen, there has never been a people, and I'm not knocking my Moorish brothers and sisters. I'm just declaring my position, which I can do because they always got something to say about the Pan-African movement. I have never seen a people get free filling out paperwork. If you can show me I don't care what race, I don't care what culture, I don't care what nation, I don't care what period in history, can you show me a group of people who got their freedom because they filled out some paperwork or went to the legal code of that country, and through the use of law, they were able to convince the people who took control of that land, not with the law. Let's be clear. The white man did not take America because he used the law. He took America because he used the gun. You understand? He didn't take Africa with the law. He took Africa with the gun. So there is nothing, no law, no nothing that is going to hold you, and give you liberation unless you have the military capacity to enforce it. I just want our people to make sure our assessment and analysis of our present and future is rooted in facts. It got to be rooted in common sense. It got to be rooted in logic. Why do I want to fight for North America when North America doesn't offer me any advantage over Africa? And the only answer for that is self-hatred. Go ahead, Black man. You wanted to respond. Is there another question on the call?
I got a question.
Yes, sir. Where you calling from, beloved?
Still here from, I'm out at earlier, Chicago.
Gotcha.
So, I had a two-part question, but I'm going to try to be quick. The first question is about my bonus daughter, who I spoke to you about my biological daughter, but this question is about my bonus daughter. I have a bit of a challenge at times. How can I say? Coming down on a child that's not yours is a little difficult.
Yes, you can't punish a child that is not yours unless that child knows for certain that you love them first. That includes your own child, you know.
Exactly. And I've been with my woman for about 4 years now. We've been living together officially 4 years. We've been living together about two and a half now. So I've been living with her daughter, and my children for a little over 2 years now. And so my challenge comes in, when, it's almost like a reflex with my children, when it comes to things I want to, be stern on them about, things like that. But it seems like I have that hesitation, when it comes to my bonus daughter. And it's just, I guess my question is, do you have any suggestions on, getting through, being able to break that barrier of...
How old are your children from your queen? How old are they? Your stepchildren. Okay, I hate to say the word, but...
My stepdaughter is 13.
Okay. Well, a couple things for me. Just
turned 14.
Okay, couple things for me. Right off the top, because you're dealing with a female children. Is her biological father in her life?
He is not.
He is not.
He's alive. He's around. She has access to him very, very seldom. When she goes over, to his family's house on the weekend, every so often he comes around, but he's not consistent whatsoever.
Okay.
Every now and then she may talk to him on the phone or something like that, but it's very, very, very seldom. He's not around.
Okay.
To say the least.
Okay. Okay. Couple things. Number one, you and your queen need to discuss beforehand what the discipline strategies will be. So y'all need to be on the same page, particularly since she's not your biological. That's number one. Number two, whatever your consequences are for her, okay, y'all need to review them with her beforehand. So she needs to know what certain behaviors can earn her. So y'all on the same page, because she's almost an adult. So we want to make sure she understands responsibility. That's number two. Number three, whatever those consequences are should never include physical punishment from you. I am of the firm position that men should never put their hands on women. That includes our daughters. If a child is to be physically spanked, it should be by the mother. Female child, it should be by the mother, because we have such a big domestic violence issue in the black community that I don't think black men should ever put their hands on black women, including our daughters. So whatever the consequences are, they should not be physically threatening in any way. And the other thing too, how much time do you spend with your non-biological children alone outside the house without the mother present?
With the non-biological daughter?
Yes.
Man, that is a great question. But to answer it, the only time I really get to spend with her without any of my children in the car or anything like that is when I'm taking her to school. Because I explained to you earlier about the school situation. So our kids are in 3 different schools, man, so it's crazy. But she's still going to the grade school that my daughter just graduated from. So that trip from home to school is the only real real time that I get to really just be in the car with her alone. That's the only time right now.
Okay. And you've been with the mom for 2.5 years. So basically since the child was 11 and a half, 12. For me, I'm a little concerned that she's not certain that the love is there because I haven't spent a lot of one-on-one time. So for me, you need to step up your one-on-one time with her. So maybe once a week, you and her may go out to dinner or go out to the movie, but because she ain't got a biological father. So this is not just you being a stepdad and she has the biological father. No, you are the father because she don't have one. He's not physically there. Until he comes back, you are the father. So she needs that love, that nurture, that care from a father figure. So you have to do that anyway to make sure her emotional needs are being met, okay, before you do any type of punishment. I really think you're going to have to spend the next 6 months building that love and trust with her before you introduce any consequences. Until then, any consequences that you think are necessary, you should funnel through the mother. They should come through the mother, not through you, because you got to make sure the love is there, because you don't want to create an uncomfortable situation where she feels that this man don't spend no time with me. He hasn't really shown that he loves me. He just puts up with me for my mom, but yet he want to come and punish me. I don't want you to do that. So I would start putting time in between now and February. And then if you do that, by the springtime, if you need to, introduce some consequences yourself, you can. But that love got to be there. And since she's not your biological and she's an older child, you really have to make sure the love is there.
And I appreciate it so much, man. And also, she's a little hoopy. And so I actually was trying to, make a plan to go to the gym and do some home workouts and things like that. And I guess maybe that could be a part of some of the time spent too, or what do you think about that?
It can be, but you also just need some face-to-face leisure time, father and daughter as well.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Umar, you the best, man. Listen, you made me you single-handedly, kind of, with me personally, I'm speaking for myself, man, you just really made me proud to be black. You made me proud to be, African. And, man, I just want to say, man, continue to do what you do. It's special. And a lot of these guys, they say things. I'll be looking at the little feed and stuff when it's live, and, man, it irks me, man, that, you take the time out to do this stuff, and people got something negative to say. It's just so... It's so backwards, you know what I'm saying? And that self-hate thing is so real. So I didn't mean to change perspectives, because the guy right before me that was talking, man, y'all was talking some good stuff, man. But I just wanted to say, man, thank you for everything. Thank you for the advice, for my questions, and thank you for just continuing to put this good energy out here to the world, being unapologetic, unapologetically African, man. It means a lot to me. And I guess, man, I want to learn about Ifa and African spirituality now, man. I do not believe I'm a Christian. I was raised in Christianity, but, based on some of the things that I've heard you say today, watched you on YouTube, watched some of your live feeds with Ifa and stuff, man. If there's anything you can, point me in a direction to kind of learn more about African spirituality and finding that inner peace within a religion that relates to me and my people. That's what I'm interested in, man. So, if there's anything out there, man, anything you want me to read, or, man, I'm going to follow your lead on that, man, because I just think you're just an intelligent brother, and you know the way, man, to say the least.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Let me give you my number, too, so you can text me, and I can send you some information on Ifa. It's 215-989-9858. 215-989-9858.
All right, cool. I'm texting you now, man. Thanks a lot.
Okay, no problem, black man. No problem. Is there another question on the call this morning?
Yes, I have a question.
Where you calling from, sister?
I'm calling from Texas.
Your voice is pretty low, Queen. Your voice is pretty low. You sound kind of far.
Oh.
Okay, there you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. Where you calling from?
I apologize.
Where you calling from?
In transport with my munchkin. Yeah, I'm from Texas, and I actually saw you in Dallas when you were in, I think it was New Year's Eve, and you did a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just mimicking off the previous caller. I do appreciate all that you've done. You are just so profound, and I'm actually an attorney, and I've learned quite a bit from you. So you are just remarkable, and I hope you keep up the fight.
Thank you.
I just had a quick question that you kind of mimicked earlier. How do you deal with haters and negativity? I work for a nonprofit agency, and it's just a shame how our communities are. You know, like we'll have an event, another group will have an event, you know, and try to mimic or copy what we do and, you know, say negative things. And I know you have received such, you know, hatred, which is so horrible, you know, and unfounded. But I just wanted to get some self-care tips on what do you do with haters. How do you handle that?
Largely, I ignore them because to respond to them will only make them go harder. Their food is your anxiety. Their food is your frustration. You know, their food is you giving them attention. So my strategy has largely been to ignore. Now, in your professional capacity, if those haters can in any way affect your work at all, then as you know, because you're an attorney, you just want to document. So you'll be able to hang them if they ever tried to do anything that could affect livelihood. But if it's people who cannot affect livelihood, you just have to ignore them. And sometimes what I've found, sometimes the haters end up coming to their senses on their own. Like I've had people reach out to me, you know, over the years and just say, listen, you know, I was wrong. You know, I was wrong about you. I drunk the Kool-Aid. I had a cousin who didn't care for you, so I just didn't care for you myself. But, you know, I ran into something with my kid and you really helped me. So I just want to say, hey, man, you know, I apologize. You may never know who I am, but I really wasn't a Dr. Umar supporter then, but I am now. So, you know, stay focused. You know, it's interesting you asked that question, right? Because I was reading from the Odu Ifa. That's the spiritual text of the Yoruba of Nigeria. And in there, it talks about not arguing with negative people. It talks about not giving them your energy. It talks about how allowing them to distract you from your work can take you off your destiny. So it's very important that we don't give them too much attention, because in doing so, we can set off a chain of events that takes away our own blessings, especially due to the fact that a lot of haters are unhappy people, which means they have things going on in their lives that are not the way that they should be. So we don't want to do to them what they do to us. You know, they upset you, then you in turn upset them. So in a way, you know, you're just as guilty as they are if you're going to respond in the same vein. You know, that's how I look at it. It's tough to ignore them. It really, really is. But I've learned that it's the best way to go, because they thrive off of your reaction and your response and your attention. I mean, they love it, you know. And so the best thing to do is to not give them any of your energy at all. Keep it positive. Positivity is necessary for us to receive our blessings, because negative emotions actually disturbs our equilibrium with the universe. Whenever you're angry, upset, scared, depressed, whatever it is, it literally disturbs your alignment with destiny, your alignment with your blessings. You know, so evil energies repel good ones. So it's very important that we stay at peace as much as we can. You know, we can't do it all the time, but we have to strive as much as we can to just stay at peace with the way things are.
I thank you so much, and you keep doing a great job, and I'm going to keep donating to FDMG. I know it's going to be remarkable. I want several in Texas. So.
Thank you, Queen. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Hello, Dr.UmarJohnson.
Yes, sir. Where you calling from?
I'm calling from the UK. I'm in South Wales at the moment, but I'm originally from Zimbabwe.
All right, Zimbabwe. Yes, sir. I haven't been there yet.
You gotta be. Brother, my issue right now is the issue between the Zimbabwe people who are living in diaspora. The thing is, once they leave Zimbabwe, they want to act as
from wherever they are. For example, I had a class running that was teaching young boys and girls to speak Shona and Ndebele, which is some of the popular native languages of Africa, of Zimbabwe. But the backlash that I've been getting from people were, well, they're not in Zimbabwe anymore. They don't need to speak their native language. They're not in Zimbabwe anymore. They don't need to learn their culture. But the problem that people are getting right now is the issue of identity crisis amongst the Zimbabwean community's children who are living in diaspora. Their parents tell them that, no, you're not African, you're British. Okay, that's maybe they were born here, fair enough. But as they get older, they are facing so many challenges, and they're asking themselves, who are we really? Because if they go to school, if they're amongst their peers, if they go to a party, they will be asked, so where are you from? If they say, well, I'm from London, and people will say, like, where are you actually from? Well, I'm from London, but your parents, in the British states of Zimbabwe, they're trying to establish exactly where you're from. My point here is it wrong to encourage people to just keep on speaking and learning their African culture? You know, I haven't been in Zimbabwe for like nearly 18 years, you know, but I still haven't lost my roots. But a lot of people, as soon as they get on that plane, as soon as they get on that boat, whatever, as soon as they land on the shores of Europe or America, they tend to forget who they are. Like, I'm quoting what you say, only a fool would give up a continent for a country. See, this is literally happening. I can only speak for the Zimbabwean community because that's where I'm from. A lot of our people are giving up Zimbabwe for a country. Okay? A lot of people are saying we don't want to speak Shona anymore, and we don't want to speak Ndebele anymore. Somebody says, blame the Zimbabwean parents, that's self-hate parents. Yeah, I'm talking to the parents. The parents have an issue here, you know. They don't want to teach their children where they're from, okay? And, like, look, at the moment, in London, there's a rise of gangs, okay? And why is this? Is it because there is no equal opportunity? Yes, that is true. The thing is, a lot of people are not told that we're not equal with the indigenous European people, okay? You can go to the same school, you can study the same degree, but at the end of the day, your peer will get a job while they have a set degree, and you get nothing while you have a PhD, you know? So it's this self-hate mentality that we need to get rid of globally. I'm only focusing on Zimbabwe here because that's where I'm from. You know, that's as soon as they get on that plane, they don't want to be identified as Zimbabwe anymore. You know, as soon as they go into a foreign country, they want to fight for that country. Okay, as soon as they ask anything about Mugabe, they say, oh, he was an evil man, only to be on the side of the oppressor. You know, the thing is, in Zimbabwe, we're not even taught our own history as much as we should do, you know, because right now, if you ask a lot of children who's Brianna, for example, who was the spiritual leader, they don't know who she is. If you ask them who is Sister John Rose, they would tell you all about him. If you ask them who is Sister Churchill, they would tell you all about him. And if you ask them who's Sekuluka Guli, they know anything about him. You know, they don't know anything about the African Revolution. You know, they know more about the European. So we need to emancipate ourselves big time.
Yeah. Come on, bro.
Good statement, my brother. And to that, I would say this: the reason so many African people around the world, you see it in Africa, you see it in America, you see it in the UK, you see it in everywhere you go, collectively. Because we are a human family. We are a family. The African family globally is beginning to lose confidence in itself. The African family globally is beginning to lose confidence in itself. In America, we're losing confidence in ourselves because after everything that was fought for in the 60s has been taken back and lost because of poor leadership, poor organization, the onslaught of white supremacy, and then, of course, our insecurity complexes. And the same thing in Africa. All the gains of independence are slowly being rolled back. Now you have the Chinese invasion. But what we got to realize, the reason we're losing is because we're not fighting back. You know, it's one thing if you're fighting and losing, that's one thing. But if you're losing and not fighting, that's another thing. So we're not losing because, we're fighting and they're beating us. We're not even fighting. We're not even resisting. In America, we're not resisting nothing. We're not resisting miseducation. We're not resisting police genocide. We're not resisting gentrification. We're not resisting mass incarceration. We're not resisting economic discrimination, lack of access to wealth in Africa. We're not resisting the Chinese invasion. We're not resisting the European domination of our resources. We're not resisting the World Bank. We're not resisting the IMF. We're not resisting the World Health Organization's AIDS project, putting AIDS all in Africa. We're not resisting anything. So until we stand up and fight back, this tide will not turn because it is a one-sided war. It is an onslaught. It is a genocide. Genocide is when you got one person fighting and the other person dying. That's genocide. We need to turn this from a genocide into a war. That's exactly what needs to happen. We need to turn this from a genocide into a war. But in order to do that, we're going to have to be very selective about who we choose to work with. So, for example, I spoke earlier about the Ghana land project, the announcement on October 7th at the Embassy of Ghana. Okay. I'm going to be very selective about who I choose who want to be a part of this, because a lot of our people are just trying to make some money. They just want to get some honey. They just want to be famous. I'm looking for true nation builders. We have to stop trying to save everybody because everybody's not going. I would probably argue that only about 25% of the Africans in this world, 25% of the Africans in this world are the only ones who can be useful to the freedom struggle. 75% of us are so Europeanized, so self-hating, so mentally weak, so coonish that we are useless to the people. So you have to go out fishing. Just like Jesus Christ went fishing, we got to go fishing for the right people who we want to work with us. Because a lot of the folks that are out here, they're no good for us. And it begins with education and... Go ahead.
Just to clarify, brother, because I'm in the UK here.
Yes, sir.
My tariff. Just to clarify, brother, the thing is, as Africans, as blacks, the genesis is to start buying for black. If you go to Zimbabwe, right now, you hear that Zimbabwe is full of poverty. Well, that's wrong. That's not true. But our biggest problem is we want to be European, even in Zimbabwe. We want to be American, even in Zimbabwe. You hear a person saying, I won't wear that piece of clothes because it was made in Zimbabwe. Okay? I want to wear Gucci. I want to wear whatever. I want to wear this label. But the moment that we buy these labels, all that money is going back to the French community, to the Italian community, American, European. Nothing is coming to us. Africa, or Zimbabwe, I should say, where I'm from, all our resources are going out. All our money is going out, and none of it is coming back in. Okay? If DrUmarJohnson comes up with a designer label, we will say, oh, it's made by DrUmarJohnson. We try to give any excuse underneath the sun not to buy it. Okay? Recently, Paul McCartney's daughter came up wearing some African print dress. Okay? Now, black people went crazy. Oh, I want the dress. I want the dress. How many years have black people been wearing African print? How many years have black people been wearing those African dresses? Only because a white woman wore it and black women started going crazy. We are not poor, but we just need to be emancipated. We live in a country where over $3 billion is going into sex hair, then we're not poor. If we have a continent where pastors are richer than presidents, then we are not poor. If we have a country where a circular flow of income is happening amongst churches, we are not poor. We can't be poor like that. Okay? And then we have these charity companies coming in and saying, oh, Africa is this, oh, Africa is that. Oh, really? Really? I don't understand something. With the African, okay? In Zimbabwe, we had a land reform program, okay? And a lot of black people were saying this. Well, give the land to the white farmers. And ask yourself this question. So they're trying to tell me that Africans didn't farm for thousands of years. There was this statement that was said by this a racist South African who said Zimbabwe was a breadbasket of Africa. That wasn't even the case. It was just a mere statement of a white racist who owned companies that used to export food that came from Zimbabwe, going to America, going to Europe, going to Asia. Okay? So they're trying to tell us that we are lazy, and we black people are saying, yes, we are. Okay? I'm challenging all black people here. If you're in America, wherever you are, let's stop buying fancy cars and let's start buying farm equipment. Okay? Let's put our energy into farming. We have the resources. Okay? In Zimbabwe, it's one of the only countries where we took over our resources fully. Okay? People are being invited, okay, to buy farm equipment. The only way we can take over a country is by farming. It's one of them, actually. Okay? If we provide our own food, right now there's a strategy of introducing genetically modified organisms onto African soil, so that we depend on the African, on the American seed. Okay? But we need to wake up. We need to wake up and smell the coffee. We have been given land. How many countries in Africa can say that? In South Africa right now, they don't own land. 87% of the world in South Africa, is owned by the white monopoly. And right now, we need to wake up. We need to stop looking to America. We need to stop looking into ourselves. You know, if you ask a person in the UK, how many people have free land? None. None. And right now in Zimbabwe, people will say, oh, what did you do with the land? Well, why didn't you come over and farm on it? Oh, what did you do in the land? Why don't you come over and invest in it? And they say Zimbabwe is unemployment. When I say, how many houses do we have that in places that we call ghettos? Why didn't we people in the diaspora start renovating those houses? Because America is not going to. America is just going to impose sanctions on Zimbabwe and to destroy the nation. And who are they doing it? Who are they doing it by? Only Zimbabweans. So we need to wake up our language, first of all. We need to know who we are, okay? We need to know where we're coming from before we know where we're going. In Zimbabwe, we have a proverb. I'm going to try and put it into English as much as I can. It says, always look back, because that's where your spirits are. You know, in Shona we say, you know, we always say, always look back, because that's where your ancestors are, that's where your spirits are. But the thing is, we can't move forward before we know who we are. That's the first thing. Thank you very much, brother.
No problem. Appreciate you, black man. Zimbabwe, stand up. We coming. Is there another question on the call this morning?
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Where you calling from?
I'm from Baltimore.
You calling from Baltimore. Go right ahead, sister.
Okay, I'm sitting in the floor while I was listening to the brother from Zimbabwe, and I appreciate his comment. I'm kind of, sometimes when I listen to you, as well as many others, and comments and stuff on your page and stuff, I'm just so shocked that it's all over the world like it is. Because I've been out the country probably one time, down to South America. Well, it's South I've ever been, but I would love to travel, but my finances won't allow me to do that quite yet. But it's just interesting that the same thing that's happening here in Baltimore, in America, is happening all over the world when it comes to melanated people and stuff, right? I want to say first, though, Dr. Umar, I can appreciate all the work that you do.
Thank you.
I've been listening to you for a while now, and you make so much sense. Your spirit, and I feel a connection there.
Appreciate you.
Some things that my mom shared with me before she transcended into her new birth on a different level. And I love how you demonstrated in your conversation about talking about death, because I think this is one of the main reasons why our people won't move
it is that European white supremacy concept. And I think it's more about people had an understanding about death. Death really, I love you to life, so to speak. The death is not death; it's life. It's moving forward, like in a 360, so to speak. People wouldn't be so afraid. And there's so much violence in the world and in our community that the people won't stand up. They're afraid. They're more cowardly than they were back in the 60s. The 60s had more, excuse my French, but more balls than this generation.
Yes.
Let me say this. Here in Baltimore, we kind of in a big mess here, like everywhere else. And in our educational system, the public school system, I have a 21-year-old. She graduated from the public school system. We also have a 12-year-old. I'm 55. I just turned 55 in August 17th.
Marcus Garvey's birthday.
Absolutely. I feel the spirit all the time. I got a picture hanging in my living room. I'm calling for a boycott, but I haven't called it yet because I'm pulling folks together, networking, and we had to strategize. And I know that when Martin Luther King and those of the 60s, when they decided to boycott, it took time for them to strategize and organize how they were going to do it, how they was, what was the objective, what was the goal, what should we benefit, how we should benefit from it. I want to boycott the public school system here, right? It's gotten so in the Baltimore City public school system. The school system here is a daycare, baby.
Okay.
It's a daycare.
It is.
We got a media, which is Fox 45, which I know is Republican-based, but this young white boy that has been on this story called Project Baltimore, confronting school boards about different questions in terms of how their child can miss 110 days out of school out of 180 days of school, right? And he passed and graduated with a D- and get a certificate, right? This is consistent. This has been going on. It's been my generation, it's been my mother's generation, but this is it. Like, we can't afford this because, like, I want to see the data on how many black children or poor children in Baltimore. And I talked to this media person, and I asked him to help me get that data. How many homicides, how many arrests, how many arrests and given time, probation, all kinds of things. I need that data because I want to use that for my boycott. And my boycott is, if they can't answer the question for us, because Baltimore City Public School, Fox 45 took them to court. It cost them, I think, $110,000 with all the lawyer fees and all that kind of stuff, right? And they to get these undidacted documents, which they gave us documents that were didactic. Who's responsible for all this grade changing?
Yes.
And I know that the bottom line is a monetary thing.
Yes.
Right? Like, you're not going to use our kids, right? That's my attitude. You're not going to continue to use our children for your commodity.
That's right. That's
because
right.
At the end of the day, each pupil in Baltimore City Public School is a dollar bill, right?
That's right.
And if the judge has told you to release those documents and answer our questions, right, then it's time for us to take more extreme measures in terms of boycott. And so I'm asking the parents, caregivers of Baltimore City that are stakeholders of Baltimore City Public School, that have a child, grandchild, whatever, right, that we're going to remove our children from the school system, right, from the school system, and we're prepared to go to jail for that, too. Now, I also understand that when you're making this type of strategic move, right, folks is going to, they're going to threaten you, they're going to come at you threaten you with jail, they're going to threaten you, those that receive SSI, SSD,
Good point. Good point.
Because we come from, that's what they did. I don't know what's wrong with this generation, and they don't want to make these kind of sacrifices. Like over there in Chicago with Miss Curlin and them, right, and crime chasers, right, they boycotting the Korean shop that's been disrespecting black women and stuff, right? And I've been supporting them for a minute and keeping my eyes on them, watching this boycott, right? But I think at this point now, what they really need to do is they really need to get organized now. Because when you shut this business down, what are you going to replace it with?
Right.
And what is your agenda? And that's
Right.
how I feel about this school system. Right? It's time for our curriculum. And one of the major things that's happening in the Baltimore City school system is it's like the prison system, for real. They stripping them of their identity. They claim on their pain. There's something. There's no self-esteem. You know, they mix the schools up now. When I was going to school back in my time, it was elementary, junior high, and senior high. Now you got 6th grade and junior high, and you got 8th grade, 9th grade, and senior high. So that's where your bullying concept came from.
Okay.
You know, then they're shutting all these other schools down. These white folks that have no clue about what's going on in the inside in terms of the demographics of different neighborhoods and stuff, right? They geographically shut down the school, and it could be a school that's doing well, but they shutting it down.
Good point. Good point. Do me a favor, Queen. Wrap that up for me in the next minute, only because a couple folks still got some questions, but I'm agreeing with you. Good points, but go ahead and try to wrap that up in the next minute if you can.
All I'm saying, Dr. Umar, is that be on the lookout, because we coming in Baltimore. I'm strategizing right now. I'm bringing folks together, and folks, just like that gentleman that just called in from Zimbabwe and stuff, right? We have forgot where we come from. And you can't move forward unless you look back. And that's all I got to say, Doctor.
Well said.
Thank you.
Do you have my number, Queen? Do you have my number? Because I would like to come to some of your meetings.
Okay.
I can give it to you. It's 215 989 9858.
Okay.
Shoot me a text message.
I sure will.
All right.
Thank you, Dr. Umar. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you so much. Definitely.
All right.
All right. One love. One love. Is there another question on the line? Yes, Queen. Where you calling from?
Good morning, Dr. Johnson.
Good morning, sister. Where you calling from?
I'm calling in from New York by way of Germantown, Maryland.
New York by way of Germantown, Maryland. Go right ahead, Queen.
So I'm calling in on an older child, switching gears back to children.
Okay.
My daughter, she is 18, and she just graduated school in May, June. And I've been having consistent problems with her since she was younger, and her problem has always been being rebellious towards me. Her father has been absent since she was 5. She would go with him for a couple of days and then come back, and she don't see him again for weeks to months to years. And we always lived in the same city, always within about 20 minutes apart. I've always had a boyfriend since me and her father broke up. He's been consistent in her life, just as much a part of her life as I have been. I have a very supportive family. However, I know that I messed up in my raising of her, and I take full responsibility because my goal has always been to raise her differently than what my mother raised me. My mother was great with providing. However, she didn't provide me with what it is that I needed. I needed a lot of love and compassion and, the hugs and the kisses, and that's not who my mom was. However, I've always been spoiled as far as materialistic things. So with my daughter, I raised her being a part of everything. If she let me know she wanted to do something, I was helping her chase what it is that she wanted to do. Cheerleading, dance, blah, blah, blah. I would be one of the most active parents. And For her, she didn't want all of the love and attention that I did. I have now learned that what she wanted was a lot of distance. And so I've always received rebellion from her. And now I put her, she's away at college. I had her to go away early for the summer program to try to get some distance between us and try to get things better. And I have since been in counseling and learning a lot that the things that I did were not what she needed. And I tried to get her in counseling as well for her to understand what it is that happened and who she is and what she should do and so on, and the things that counseling help you with. However, she refuses to go. She's away at school. Like I said, she's not going to class. She's on the road to promiscuity. She likes attention from people, and I can't just say males, but from people, period. She's all about the makeup, the lashes, the hair, you know, the midriff showing.
Something happened. Something happened in her childhood. The anger, she's not going to class, promiscuity. I'm picking up depression. Remember, in young people, depression can present as anger. Because not only does she appear to be angry at you, she's not conducting her life in a way that would lead to success, not going to class, being promiscuous. There's a hopelessness there, dangerous behavior. There's an anger. Was there any sexual abuse in her past?
She does not state of any sexual abuse, and I stand on the relationship that we had where she would tell me the truth if something like that happened. And when it comes to where she was between her teenage years as far as going with family, I only let her go with maybe 3 or 4 family members that I trusted, and where something like that would not occur. For the most part, there was not a male in the household where she would go, or a male who would show, or even a female who would.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that you had a boyfriend. The boyfriend that you had, it's the same guy consistently throughout her life?
Yes, he is still around.
Okay.
Even with him and I not being in a relationship anymore, he still presents himself as quote-unquote dad to her.
Okay. How long have the two of you not been together anymore, you and he?
We haven't been together for about 2.5 years. However, we do have a really great friendship, so
okay. Is she
present just as much as he was, but there's no sexual activity between
I got you. Is she the only child?
Yes.
Okay, she's the only child.
Very spoiled.
Okay, what type of relationship does she have with him?
Honest, open. She listens to him. She will follow his direction more than she does mine.
But was he the type of father that she would go to if she needed to talk about a problem? Like, how close were they? Was it just functional and respectable, or was it intimate? Because a lot of times you can have a functional and respectable relationship with your parent, significant other, but it's not intimate. It's not where, the love is so strong that I can, come to you and talk to you about things. Like, what type of relationship was it?
No, it was the functional and respectful.
Okay.
I do not believe that she feels that she has the type of relationship that you speak of with anyone, because I strongly believe that she believes all of these people in her life will then come and tell me what it is that she disclosed to them.
Okay.
That's just how I feel.
And the reason that what's going on with her and her biological father, the reason they don't spend time is why?
Just because he chooses not to.
Okay, because
It's more of a anger towards me.
Okay.
That we broke up.
Okay. And you don't play any role, or you haven't played any role in him not being in his daughter's life?
yes and no. When she was younger, like when she couldn't really speak for herself on the things that went on, because I never trusted him with her, because there has been incidents when she was younger where he would leave her in bed asleep, although he's at his mom's house, although she's in bed asleep, no one would know that he's gone from the house. So I've always been afraid that if something happened, they wouldn't even know that the child is there. So I stopped letting her go until she could then communicate with me if something bad happened when she's away from me with him.
Let me ask you a question.
That's it.
Okay. If I were to talk to your daughter, because you've had a consistent significant other in her life, which is perfectly normal. But if I were to talk to her and ask her, do you feel your mother put in the time with you that you needed growing up, to include not putting her boyfriend in that relationship ahead of your relationship with her, what would your daughter say to me?
Oh, absolutely. I never put anyone or anything before her. Not even myself.
Would she say that, though? Would she say that? Does your daughter, does she feel that you put your romantic relationship above your relationship with her?
Never.
Okay, so she would say, no, my mom been there.
And I strongly stand on that simply because of the type of work that my boyfriend did. He pretty much was working all day and come home at night, in the late evening, dinner time, 7, 8, 9. By that time, homework is done, clothes, or, we've had our date out, nails, whatever. By the time he came to the home, the day has already settled down. So there's no way that I could put him before her.
Okay, then let me ask you this then. What is your best guess as to why your daughter is depressed and sad right now?
No matter what, no matter what's the males in her life, because I also have a brother, I have my father, and I have my brother-in-law. They've all been a part of her life as well. Extending the hand, if you need anything, let me know, so on and so on. She still yearns for the father-daughter relationship.
Okay.
Her and her biological father do not get along because she speaks her mind. She did learn that, to speak her mind in a very respectful way. So he approaches her with money. Like, he'll just show up to her when she was in high school. He'll just show up to her high school on, let's say, Valentine's Day with jewelry and balloons and stuff, but then she won't hear from him again for another 6 months. So he approaches her with money, and she lets him know, I don't need anything like that from you. I just want a relationship from you, and he refuses to do that. Simply because, I can't say the because, but my thought is he does not know how, because he had an absent father, a drug-addicted mother.
Okay.
He's lost himself, and that's one of the mistakes I made as well.
And he don't have any concerns about not being a biological father, right?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Is there anyone in his family that you could go to that could potentially engage him about his needing to be there for his daughter? Like, does he have an aunt, uncle, grandparent, brother, sister, anybody that could engage him on this?
Yes, but he doesn't listen. I have a relationship as well as my daughter have a great relationship with his father and his father's wife. I speak to his mother, his sisters, but I don't know. I'm so lost because nobody can get through to him. I don't believe that he can get through to him because he's still dealing with issues of his childhood, with his parents not being there for him. He drinks a lot to the point where he's borderline alcoholic. He's a functional alcoholic, I'll say that. But
Okay.
That's his way of dealing with the things that he didn't receive as a child.
I got you. And this could clearly be an issue with the biological father. However, the elephant I'm seeing in the room here is that had she had a substitute, Had she had a surrogate father, then she could have been insulated away from a lot of this. So it seems like even though the father has not been there, it seems like your ex, the quote unquote stepdad, as well as the other men in her life, they really didn't step up and fill the void emotionally the way that it needed to be filled. But even with that being stated, I still feel that there's something else missing from the equation. If you like to, I could speak with your daughter by phone, or we could do Skype or WhatsApp or FaceTime, whatever it takes. But I could speak with her, do a life coaching session with her, and try to see what's really going on if that's something you're interested in. I just think it's something missing from this equation.
Okay.
Okay.
I receive that and accept that.
Okay. If that's something you want to do you have my cell number?
I do.
Okay. Shoot me a text message. I would say not before Friday, because that's when I'll be back in Philadelphia, and we can schedule that.
Don't send the message before Friday.
Right, only because I won't be home till then, so I don't want to see it and then forget to reach out to you.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Queen. We'll get through it.
I do have one question with
Sure,
that.
sure.
What if she chooses not to speak with you?
Does she know who I am?
Yes, we came to see you.
Okay.
Every time you come in our city.
Okay. I've never had a kid refuse me, so she would probably be the first in 20 years. I'm gonna cross my fingers and hope she don't break my streak. So just present it to her, let her know it'll be private. It'll just be she and I, and we can make it happen. I do charge $75 per hour for the life coaching.
Sure.
All right. But it won't take more than that. Not for the first time we meet anyhow, because that's more or less an assessment. So yeah, text me and we'll set that up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Queen. No problem.
Peace.
All right. Peace and love. Is there another question on the call this morning?
Yes, Dr. Umar.
Yes, sir. Where you calling from?
Yes, sir. I'm calling. I was looking, my phone had lost signal. I could call. I was the you were telling me about self-hate. I just wanted to make one thing clear, or just get my point back across.
Yes, sir. I got you, brother. Go right ahead.
Yes, when you were saying about the self-hate thing that Black Americans have.
Yes.
It feels like that Black Americans, we get a lot of vitriol or a lot of bashing because it seems like we're self-hatred. We're not trying to be in tune with our brothers from the diaspora, but I don't see a lot of that going towards the people from the continent or the Caribbean who disrespect Black Americans, don't respect nothing that our ancestors did or went through. People like Candace Owens, like, they don't have no type of respect from us. And I understand, like, you said this is individuals from those places that came over here, of course, and contributed. But like when you was on the road to Martin, you was like, I'm not talking about individuals, systemically. It's the same for the immigrants that come over here. They have not contributed to Black Americans at all. They come over here, undermine us, join the oppressor class. That's really what it is. So I don't really see it as self-hate. I see it as Black Americans acknowledging our tribe of people, because yes, we are connected from the same source, but we're different tribes of people. We are acknowledging our tribe. You told me that you don't know, you're not lost, you're from Africa. That's cool, but majority of Black Americans, our stuff has been erased, so we acknowledge our tribe of people and what our ancestors did over here and understanding our lineage, because nobody from the diaspora tell us they, even when they used to come over here, you couldn't tell immigrants to say they was Black. Oh, no, I'm Dominican. Oh, no, I'm Cuban. They never align themselves with us. I'm in Houston, Texas right now. The Nigerian community don't align with the Black at all. At all. They undermine. We not with the same. So it's like there's no connection at all. So Black Americans, from what I see, we've been on trying to connect with them in the like Black Americans who helped us all this. Even with Malcolm X, I know his mama is, I don't even know, but he's not full-blooded Black American. So it was never no hate. It seems like we never got it in return at all. Like, at all.
Right. Let me jump in, and I'm gonna let you respond. Let me jump in and let you retro. First of all,